real quick. Get this notification. It's so beautiful outside today. Period. What's up, y'all? If y'all tuned in, make sure y'all share this video. Share this video for me. Okay, we got ATL in the building. It's lit. We lit. Oh, let me get this so I can share it with you. Okay. Cool beans. What's up, everybody? Robin here checking in on a brand new episode of Pillow Talk. And as always, I appreciate y'all for tuning in with me, okay? Okay. Now, I am excited to have another amazing guest on the show, okay? We got a nice talk show radio legend coming on here right now, man, using her voice to the fullest capabilities to spread awareness and all of the above. I am super duper excited to have her. Y'all need to definitely make sure y'all show her some love, okay? Miss Cree coming on. Thank you so much.
Yay! That was a great intro. I've never been called radio legend, so I'm like, whoa, okay, that's new.
We're gonna take that. We're gonna take that because
Right,
you
I'm
out
like, I
here.
received that. I actually do receive that. Thank you so
Yes,
much.
of course. You are very welcome. No, I love that. You are definitely doing your thing. I looked, just over your Instagram, and I just saw how long you've been doing it. So you are a legend for sure.
Long, long. I'm like, all right, y'all. Seriously, how much longer?
Okay, look, they playing with you because you overdue for that check. Okay, you
Right, I'm
overdue
like,
for that
it's so simple. It's so what I'm asking for is so simple, and y'all just can't even do it.
check. Can't do it. No, but thank you, Miss Cree, for coming on here. I know you do a lot, so I definitely appreciate you taking out some time to chop it up with me. Now, are you residing in ATL right now currently?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Okay.
Shout out to the
Yeah,
West Side.
yeah, yes. What's your favorite thing about ATL, about your city? What's the favorite thing?
Um, I feel like I should automatically know that, to be honest. I don't know. I just feel like Atlanta's changing. So right now
Oh,
I'm in a space where I don't really have like a favorite because it's so much has
dang.
changed. So
Okay.
it's kind of just bittersweet. It's like, okay, change is great, but dang, I don't, yeah.
Well,
Like,
okay. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. I have never been to Atlanta. I only went to
really?
Spelman. So, like, if I came there, like, what would you be like, man, you need to do this, like, when you come to Atlanta?
Um, There's really so much. So you would definitely need to go to an Atlanta United game. So that's our soccer team.
Okay. Okay.
And everybody in Atlanta or from Atlanta knows that Atlanta sports just are just trash. People just go just to go. But
Damn.
our soccer team is like winning all the time. And the games are super like loud and people are standing up. Like it is an experience. And then on top of that, your
Okay.
team gets to win. And I think the second year Atlanta United was a thing, they won the championship. So they finally brought Atlanta a championship. So they
Okay.
like
Okay.
definitely need to go to a soccer game. The Hawks game is pretty nice too. They did pretty
Okay.
good this year as well. The belt line is pretty cool. Really, you can kill all the birds with the belt line stone because there's so much to do. You can ride your bike. They have different restaurants. They have black-owned restaurants. You get your nails done. They have margaritas, taco, like everything that
Yes.
you could do or think about doing. If you go on the belt line, I promise you, you will find something to do and people to talk to, people to meet.
I'm
Yes.
sold. I'm sold. That's where I'm gonna go.
Yeah, so I was like, just
I'm
go to
going
the
there.
Beltline. And there's so many different. It's literally like a I call it like the bike highway or the pedestrian highway because it just connects the entire city. So you could be on the Beltline in Midtown and it'll connect you to the west side. You know what I'm saying? Or it'll connect you to the
Okay.
east side. So it's all interconnected. And I wouldn't suggest walking because that's a long walk. But if you had to, you get what I'm saying? You could
Yeah.
definitely get on the belt line on this side of the city and end up on the other side.
Yes, absolutely. You sold. Sold. They need to hire you as a tourist for the city because I'm sold now. You just sold
Yes.
me margaritas, tacos. I need to go, period. Okay,
Right,
I
right.
love
Period.
that.
Period.
I
Period.
love
Period.
that though. But yes, Miss Cree, you are in ATL and you are a renowned public speaker, you're a radio host, and you're an activist. You know, you do a lot. You got a lot of titles. I
Yes,
love
I
that.
have a lot of hats.
I love
A
that.
lot of different hats. I like them though. I love my hats.
You do. And you wear them all so beautifully for sure.
Yay,
So
thank you.
growing up for you, like, have you always been just a real talkative person, like not afraid to talk to different people or
Yeah, I don't think I've ever really been afraid. Um, I think the most I was ever afraid of was not like the people. I think it was more so like of myself. Um, yeah, I don't. It's kind of weird to say, but I think I was more so just afraid of me doing too much, if that makes sense.
okay.
It's like, okay, I know what's inside of me, but I don't want to get up here and it's too much for the people to handle.
Oh no. Okay. Okay. You was censoring yourself a little bit.
Yeah,
Censoring yourself.
no, I definitely will agree that I was. And like with
Mm,
2020, I'm just like, it was a time for me to decensor myself, if
mm,
that makes sense. Because I
absolutely.
definitely will admit that I was censoring myself. I was, um,
Mm.
what's it called? Diluting my light.
Oh, okay.
Like I was just doing that just to kind of make the people around me feel comfortable. Because you can't tell, but I'm 5'11", so I'm a pretty big person.
Oh, okay. Yes, Lex. Yes,
I'm like,
Lex.
I'm 5'11", and I usually wear heels, so I
Yes,
average about
model.
six
You a whole
two.
model and
Right.
shit.
I'm like, I'm pretty. I don't want to say big. I'm a big person, and that can be very, intimidating to people. And then you have this voice, so it's like, let me just not do too much because I'm already like doing a lot, just me. You know what I'm saying?
Mm,
So,
that's interesting though. I would never, I mean, just hearing you talk now, I would never think there was once upon a time where you felt like, let me reel it back a little bit.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah, no. I think it's not like when I go in this room, I'm telling myself, okay, Cree,
Right.
reel it back, reel it back. It's not that. It's more just like in the back of my mind, like, oh, Cree, you don't know how they're gonna react, so just hold that down. You get what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
it's just
Right.
a cautious, subconscious thing that just happens because I kind of feed off of energy,
Mm.
and sometimes I walk into a room and I can feel that. I just might have shifted the energy for the worse. Not on
Facts.
purpose though.
Right. No, you're right. You can
So,
feel when energy shift. You can definitely feel
right,
that. Yeah.
right. Can you
Okay.
get down,
Well, you
please?
definitely been. What kind of dog you got? Look, what kind of dog you got over there?
A bully pit, and
Oh,
he's like, please pet me, please. Can you just touch me, just
mommy.
please?
No, that's okay.
Yeah.
Okay, no, but I love that. I mean, I love who you are now. Definitely, just saying how you want to uncensor yourself, like that's super dope. But you've been doing, I would say being yourself for the longest, especially with the questions with Creed.
Yeah,
Now, y'all know I had to do my research because I like to do that. But you've been doing this for a very long time. Like,
yeah.
how did that portion start for you? Questions with Creed. How did that start?
It's crazy. So that noise you hear is him running around,
Oh.
but now he's making noise. Um, so I kind of always, when I was younger, you know how people have like alliterations that match their name. It's like cooking with Christina. You
Right.
get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like something.
yeah.
There's they have something, and I'm like, dang, nothing's gonna match my cue. I'm like, nothing's gonna match my cue. How am I gonna do this? When I was an intern, so at the radio station, we started doing this questions with Cree, and it started out as like riddles. So every day it was like a riddle, and I never knew the answer to the question, but it was like a joke. It was in like a joking manner, like, okay, tune in to questions with Cree to see, what riddle she's not gonna know tomorrow or something like that. And they would ask me like obvious questions. It was like one question was like, "Who's on the $20 bill?" And I was like, "Dang, I don't know."
Not they
like,
tried to code for you. Hold on.
right? So I'm saying, like, it was like funny. It was like stuff that I should know, but I was like, "Wow, I just don't pay attention." Clearly, I think one guy ended up trying me like when I was out. He had said something smart, alluding to the fact that I was like lacked intelligence, and I was looking like, hold on, don't let questions with Cree fool you. I'm not an idiot. Like,
Right.
and so then that kind of made me realize, okay, well, I know it's fun and jokes, but you never know how people are perceiving that, And I'm like, look, I'm no dummy. So I was like, okay, I like questions with Cree because it's a cue. But how do I make it make sense for me? And literally, I sat down. I remember I was sitting in my dorm room. We had like a common space area, and I just started brainstorming on how to. I don't remember exactly what I Googled, but it was something. Fix, stop it. Sorry. It was along the lines of like how to never expire. Like, how in media, everything, once it's printed, it expires and they have to find the next story and find the next story. And I was like, I don't want to make a living or make a life based off of finding what someone else is doing. You get what I'm saying? Like, I just didn't want to do that because I'm like, that just seems like a lot of anxiety. Like, I can't keep up with all of this. So,
no, for real.
It just had like a list of different things, and it was talking to the point of providing substance. Like, you'll never expire if you provide substance, or you'll always leave something behind if you make people feel, or if you appeal to their emotions. And I'm like, okay, so how can I do that? Questions with Cree. And then it said something like, you have to create like a demand. Like, what do people need? And I was like, you know what? Everybody needs advice. Everybody. I don't care who it is, a billionaire, a person on the street. Like, it does not matter. Everyone needs advice, and they seek it from whoever is close, whoever is reliable, like whoever. And it also never expires, because what you're going through right now could be something I go through 10 years from now. But if you have that questions with Cree, oh, dang, let me go see what she's saying. What does she say about this topic? What does she say about that topic? Like, how can I maneuver through this? And so I was like, you know what? That's going to be it. I want to give advice. Yeah. And it just kind of, the way that I did it, it has grown. So I deleted beginning questions with Cree off of there. It's still a little on there, but I finally found like my groove after like, I think it was a year and a half. I was like, okay, I like doing it this way because it's quick. It's like 60 seconds, and I give you so much information that you have to watch it again. And I throw in like little jokes here and there. So it has come a long way. And then when I kind of started the whole decensoring, I kind of put it on pause because I was just being an activist. So I'm like, yes, that's questions with Cree though. So I've been working on getting back into it. Yay,
I love it though, really. I mean, seriously, y'all, these questions, and people ask you all types of stuff. It ain't like it's just a basic, oh, I argued with my wife. No, you didn't have people talk to you about all types of things.
And the crazy thing is, I have no idea. I don't know these people. Everything is anonymous. So when they go to my website, they literally type the question. It doesn't ask for a phone number, doesn't ask for an email address. It asks for no name, nothing. It just is the question. And I would type up the response. So I did it in like 3 different ways. And that was another thing I learned. I don't know if you ever seen BAPS.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so At the beginning of the movie, when she was like, they were trying to figure out they were going to go and audition for the video shoot, and she was saying good things come in three, and that's always like stuck with me. So I'm like, okay, you need to figure out how you can do it three different ways. So one way was on social media, the other way was through print, which is just like typing, which is on the website, and then the third way was in person. So I would do like in-person questions with Crees, and I would have like a question cup. I love my little question cup, and everyone had their question card, and literally would write their question down. And then we pass the question cup around. They put their cards in, and we just start talking. And it was kind of like group therapy. I don't like saying that word because that scares people, but it essentially was relieving, and it was releasing for a lot of people that came out.
Mm-hmm. I'm happy you said therapy though, because I feel like it is, in a sense, like that's an outlet for people to kind of get some unsolicited advice on something that they need advice on.
Yeah. And then when there's like the audience part, you still don't know, so you can't even feel like someone's judging you. You get what I'm saying? So that's why I always keep that anonymous aspect to it, just because I feel like that allows people to be a little more vulnerable. Like, oh, dang, that was my question, but no one knows that it was me. Or, dang, somebody else is going through that. That's exactly what I'm going through. You get what I'm saying? And now, and even some people would come forward and be like, that was my question, and this is how I handled it. And so it was, Cree was just sitting there like, this is great.
more. No, for real though.
I love this. I'm so happy for you guys.
Seriously. I know you done got some really wild stuff. Like, what do you do when you get those one question and you just like, oh, hell no. Like, for real though, like, how do you come up with a cohesive answer?
Honestly, I this is a trick that I do, and I don't know how I learned this, but I am a firm believer that like most of the problems we have can either be fixed or like rendered in some way by us. So I'm really big on just starting with yourself. So for instance, like when I would work out in the gym in college, I would never use weights. I will always just work out with my body weight because I wanted to make sure that I didn't want to add extra weight to my life, if that makes sense. And that's a little like figuratively, but still, I definitely, when I'm answering the question, I let people know that it's up to them. So if you have a problem, you have to figure out what it is you want out of the situation. Because most times there's problems, and because we don't know what we want, or we've lost sight of our why, or we just haven't taken the time to think about what the problem is and how to accomplish a solution, that's 9 times out of 10 the problem. So when people come to me with this craziness, I'm like, well, did you stop and think about what you want? Like, did you stop and just take a deep breath before you reacted? Did you stop and listen to understand versus listening to respond? And that usually is the problem. They weren't listening to understand. They were just listening, and they were just ready to respond. And it's like, you can't do that. Like, you have, even if it's listening to yourself, like if there's no one there and there's a problem, if you step back and just listen to yourself, what do I want? And then what do I need? We don't do that. How many times do you do that? Because I have to remind myself to do that.
Okay. I was going to say, I have to interject that as much as possible. Like, all the time. Yeah.
And I try to do my best to remind people that it always starts with you, and like you have to be the change you wish to see. But it's also really hard. Like,
not lying, it is hard. Accountability is hard for people. Like, accountability is really hard for folks.
And I'm like, with this last year, I'm like, I have held myself super, super accountable, and I'm like, this is really, really hard. Like, this is no joke. Like, the mind is something serious. Okay.
Facts. You ain't lying. You are not lying. It is serious. So you're probably very big on mental health and, making sure that you keep your mental intact, especially doing what you do. Like, what's one thing that you do outside from like affirmations, or just positive thinking to keep your mental like in check?
Honestly, I will burn sage.
Okay.
And my mom has really like gone above and beyond educating me on like just energy and how it works and the different crystals and the full moon and really tapping into that source, because we have energy, but there's also a source where we can get our
Right.
energy magnified, and so whenever I'm feeling just like, oh, this is just stupid, I'm just wasting my time, I'm dumb, this is dumb, I'll go and I'll burn sage.
Mm.
um, Deep breaths really do help. um, Also, there's this something called like frankincense and myrrh. So
Okay.
I'll burn that as well. And it's really just like a big old smokehouse. Like it's just, but I do that because I can feel it shifting the energy. So whatever negative energy I have,
Mm.
I'll make it a point to shift that. And I don't know what this lady's name is, but I was watching her so long ago and it always stuck with me. She said, as soon as she said something about stopping to wait, like stop waiting. So when you have that negative thought, you have to instantly change it, like instantly change your mood. Like don't allow it to take over you. And so that's what I'll
Right.
do. If I get down, I'll be like, no, what, Pre, no, that's not the type of day we having. We're gonna count to five. We're gonna have a great day today. And
Thanks.
after that, it just goes away, like because I don't allow it. And some days I do allow it. Like there's definitely days where I'm just like, I don't feel like being positive. I'm over it.
Right. Right.
Like
Right.
this is just so dumb. But for the most part, it's just me, I guess, calming down and
Yeah.
asking myself, okay, Cree, why? Like, why do you feel this way? And what can we do to make you not feel this way?
Yes. No, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's that inner shadow work right there too, as well. Just
Yeah, like it's
identifying.
so hard.
No, I love that though, because people need to realize that, like a lot, like you said, a lot of problems usually start with self. And I'm just happy you're
Right.
expressing like how you take yourself out of the moment for a second, get yourself
Hmm.
right, and go back in it because you need that. You need that self check for sure.
Yeah.
You need that self
Yeah.
check. So I know that you are, well, I stated that you are a radio personality, and I see that you were working at Hot 107.9. And
Hmm.
currently there's a whole, boycott situation that's going on right now with them and Radio One, I believe, in other stations. So if you could just elaborate a little bit on that, we want to give some exposure because clearly it's not
Yes.
going good.
Right. So I was a radio personality at Hot 1079 by way of Radio One Atlanta, by way of Urban One. So
Okay.
the big company is Urban One.
Urban One.
Within Urban One, there are different companies. So there's TV One, some other ones that go on, and then there's Radio One. And
Okay.
so Radio One Atlanta, the Atlanta division, because there's different markets, was honestly one of the biggest markets in the company. So the Atlanta market essentially kind of carried the rest of the other markets,
I
just
can
because it's a
believe it.
hub.
I can
It's
believe it.
music, black music, it's a thing. And I had the pleasure of, taking part in that particular station, which was overall, in retrospect, it was an amazing experience. I started out as an intern when I was like 17, 18. By the time my senior year came in college, I was on the radio. And so there was a show called The Dirty Boys. And so this was like the number one, like afternoon, nighttime show from 6 to 10.
Okay.
And that's where I kind of started Questions with Cree. And then it eventually got on the radio. And it was like, oh my gosh, wow, I set a goal, I've accomplished it. This is
Yes.
amazing.
Yes.
Um, but along that period, there were micro and macro aggressions that would happen
Mm.
periodically that I couldn't put my finger on. Like that does not make sense. What is going on? Like, you know how you just are like,
Scratching your head like what? Mm-hmm.
so I'm like, am I tripping? But then again, I also was literally like the youngest in the
True.
Radio One Atlanta company. I was literally the youngest employee. And I'm just like, all right, this goes to that censorship. I'm like, all right, look, I can't be the only one that see this. Like, and you
Mm-hmm.
know, when you're younger, you just like, what? That's going on.
Right.
Like, so I don't feel
Right.
like I knew how to effectively communicate the discord and discomfort that I felt, but it was there and it was there all the time. And I could never put my finger on it. And I can remember people like, oh, you went to this, how was this? And I was like, it was okay. And they're like,
Mm.
it was okay. I was like, yeah, it was straight. I was like, you didn't have fun? I was like, I mean, it was, like, it was straight.
Damn.
Exactly. And they're like,
Right. I'm like,
dang,
damn.
like, do you like your job? And I'm like, yeah, I love it. And they're like, no, people that something ain't right.
Right.
And I could never put my finger on why something wasn't right because I don't know. There was just my judgment was extremely clouded. And of course it would be like you're 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. You're in college, like you don't really know the terrors of the world yet. You know, like you kind of know, but you don't really know.
No.
And so it didn't take until I got assaulted by a police officer. So it was A3C, and I was leaving. I was headed home, and the station was hosting the festival rather, and we had just brought like Lil Wayne on the stage, and a stampede of people like came and like were running, and they said that there was gunshots, but I do not remember hearing gunshots at all. I think people just overreacting, or there was like a loud noise and it was dark, so people started running. So you see one person run,
Yeah, I used to
leave me
start
alone.
running.
I'm the one running for, but they running, so let me run too. I really think that it was just a chain reaction because, like afterwards, there was no casualties, there was no gun found, like it was nothing. Long story short, I'm on my way home and a police officer pulls me out of the car, puts me in handcuffs, tases me, and then releases me and lets me go.
What?
Mind you, I had on like my company uniform as well. So he was fully aware that I worked for a pretty prominent radio station. End up like deleting the evidence, everything. Essentially, when I called to report it, because I wasn't even going to report it, because I'm like, well, who do I tell the police on the police? Like I don't know. And at the time I was 22, so I had just graduated college. May, got assaulted in October. I think it was October 11th to be exact, and child, I was just like, I don't know what to do, but I had bruises on my leg. Like he literally assaulted me. And I think a week went by, and one of my aunts saw my leg, and she was like, "Girl, what happened to you?" I was like, "Nothing." She's like, "Well, that won't look like nothing." And I was like, "Oh, well, this police officer kind of like." I told her story. She's like, "What? Why?"
Okay, wasn't having it. Was not having it.
Mind you, this time had passed and the bruises were still prominent on my leg. Like they didn't fade, they were still there. So I kid you not, within 24 hours, it was on the news, child.
As it should be.
Within 24 hours, it was on the news. She had made so many phone calls and was like, no, call this investigator, blah, 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 blah. And when I called them, they were looking at me. They're like, "No, ma'am, he didn't make a stop after like 5 o'clock." And I was like, "Well,
Here
you
they
must
go
have
with that
believed
shit.
that too, right?" I was like, "Y'all about to make me seem like I'm crazy, like I just bruised myself. Like I know for a fact." They're like, "No, he didn't make a stop. He's not even zoned for that district." Like when I say it was like I was a crazy person, so the only thing that saved me were the bruises. And he had written me some tickets. Well, when they searched the database for the tickets, they didn't find the tickets. Like he had scheduled the court date for Thanksgiving Day. Like it was just some off the wall nonsense, right? So it makes the news, and it's it's on a few different stations, TV stations, and even Steve Harvey had got a hold of it and mentioned it. And I want to say, I think Ricky Smiley spoke on it. And mind you, they work within Radio One as well. But I don't think that, like, I don't know Steve Harvey personally, so I'm not really sure how, he got the story. And Ricky Smiley, I do know him personally, but at the time I hadn't seen him in a long time. So I don't know how they got the story, but either way, they were speaking on it. And so I get to work and none of us are speaking on it. None of like my co-workers, like my immediate peers, the people I'm on the show with, there was radio silent, literally dead air. Like nothing. There was no let's rally behind Creed, let's support Creed, nothing.
What?
Even so much, my boss at the time, his name is Tim Davies, the guy that I started this boycott over, who was a white guy. So he's a white male, gotta be in his like 50s, 60s, I don't know. Either way, he has aged out of the demographic. Okay. So meaning he's not our target demographic. And even if he was, he's aged out of it. Times two. So he calls me in his office and he's like, "Hey Creed, like, are you okay?" And I'm just looking like, yeah, I guess. Like, I don't know. And that's what I said. I mean, I've never been assaulted by police. I've served before. I don't know. And he was like, what did he say? He made it a point, mind you, I had not asked if we could talk about it on air. I hadn't really made a big deal at work again because I was censoring. I was just programmed myself to just censor. And he says, "Well, Creed, I don't think you should make a big deal about this because you don't need to overshadow your other employees. There are other people that have things going on, and this isn't a big deal. So don't speak about this. Just keep moving through your day." And I'm literally just like, I'm trying to figure out if what he's saying to me is what I think he's saying to me. So I'm just looking like, okay. So, because I'm real like optimistic and bubbly at times. So I'm just like, okay, like I brush it off because I'm like, there's no way that you just okay.
Right.
Okay. So I'm like, well, you know what? That's fine. Well, how about we do something with our listeners so we can educate them and let them know how to handle situations like this. I said, because I feel like there are other things that I could have done to better educate myself. Because at the time, literally, when it happened, my phone died. So I could have gone missing and no one would have known because my phone was dead. Stuff like that. Phone was dead. And when I got home, I was crying so bad. I didn't even put on a charger. Like I was just something so simple like that. Right. And so I let him know that. I was like, I think this would be good for our listeners to know. Mind you, this is one of the biggest radio stations, like in Atlanta. He says, and I quote, okay, should have been recording this conversation. He literally says, "I don't think that would be a good idea because that doesn't directly affect our target demographic." Our target demographic that is Black. Only Black. It's not like it's not even that like we're like a crossover station. When you go to the site, it says #1 source for urban radio. Urban is another word for Black. So exactly. We're not talking to white people. We're not talking to Asian people. We're only talking to Black people. And hey, people of Spanish descent, they might, you know what I'm saying, be listening, but they're not, you know what I'm saying? So, exactly. He literally says, yeah, no, that doesn't affect our target demographic. That wouldn't be a good idea. And so I'm just our target demographic, who is me, who it just affected, it would, okay. I just said, okay. And I just literally just walked out. And he sent me, I think like my next check, there was like some extra dollars attached to it. And he was like, other employees didn't get this. Just make sure you don't say anything to other employees. Essentially like a hush. You get what I'm saying? And Yes. So again, I'm 22 and I'm still trying to process it, but because I wasn't surrounded by people that felt as passionate about the situation as I did on the inside, I didn't know how to bring it out. You get what I'm saying? Like it wasn't at
Mm.
the time. It wasn't Black Lives Mattering wasn't cool. You know,
Right, right.
like people want chanting and cheering and rooting for Black people and Black women and Black businesses. Like it was a thing, but it wasn't a thing.
Right.
And I knew that, and so I'm just like on questions with Kriya, I'll kind of throw it in there, like, hey guys, make sure you are protecting yourself, make sure you're, whatever. But it wasn't like straight on. You get what I'm saying? And
Mm.
so I always left with that. So when the boycotts and protests started, I went out there just to see, and it really kind of moved me. And so I got involved and I just started speaking at protests and sharing my story, and it became really therapeutic. And that was 2020. So fast forward to April of this year, I was like, something is still holding me back. What is holding me back? What is holding me back? So I went on like a fast last September and I cut
Mm.
out everything, honey. Everything. I was only drinking
Mm.
water, waking up at 5:30 in the morning, going to the gym, only listening to like sermons and God, what is holding me back? And
Wow.
the only thing left was the radio station. And I was like, okay, I have to let it go because it's not serving me. They're not even in the community protesting. Like there was nothing regarding Black Lives Matter. All 2020. It was cool. Black Lives Mattering was cool. No, radio station said nothing.
Mm.
They may said something here and there, but considering you're in a Black city and it's a Black station that's owned by a
How could
Black
you not?
person,
Exactly. How could you not?
how could you not? And so it just infuriated me even more because I'm like, y'all could rally behind me, and now y'all can't even
Mm.
rally behind y'all own city. Like I can't be a part of this. Like it's just
No.
too much. It's just too much. There's too many things that aren't being said by a communications company. It don't make
Right.
sense.
Right. Mm.
And literally after I made that decision, I'm like, something is still I'm missing something. And April, I sat down and wrote out how I felt in like a poem, spoken word form, recorded that video, posted it, and my phone went zonkers
Mm.
because I
Mm.
had sent my official resignation letter in
Okay.
January, like January 29th. I sent it and I sat with it. And April, honey, I
Mm.
just opened up the can of worms and was essentially educating people on the fact that this is a Black owned company, great, but it's white run. So what do we
Mm-hmm.
do with that? Because if it's white run, is our agenda still being pushed or is it being
Hell no.
halted? Right? Is it being held for ransom? Like
Mm-hmm.
because yeah, you can have a Black owned company, but if the Black people are still being treated as minorities in the company, what's the point of Black owned company?
Exactly. Exactly.
And a lot of people didn't know that. And so that's essentially why I started the boycott, because it's not okay
Mm.
for us to have this conglomerate of a media company. It's one of the biggest Black owned media companies in the world,
Mm.
yet it is single handedly run by white people. And again, I'm not saying anything is wrong with white people, but they do not understand what it takes and what it is like being Black in this country. Therefore, they cannot empathize or sympathize with us. So
No.
that's why they see afros as a threat, or that's why they see Bantu knots as a threat, or that's why they see different hair colors as a threat, because that's not where they come from.
Right.
So then when you have a boss like Tim Davies and you have a girl, a young woman like QRI Montague who gets assaulted, he's never had to deal with that. He's a white
Definitely
man.
not. He's a white privileged man. You're right. Never.
So I'm like, in his eyes, of course he would think that doesn't affect our target demographic because he does not have any inclination of who the target demographic is or what they go
Mm-hmm.
through. And so that's why I started the boycott, because we need adequate representation. It is important to have Black vice presidents and Black general managers because at the end of the day, they set precedents for the culture. You
Yeah.
think it's these entertainers. No, it's the people behind the entertainers. So
Mm-hmm.
who
Speak on it.
I'm going out into this world and I'm speaking as a radio personality, and really I just feel like a puppet because my white general manager doesn't even sit in meetings with us.
Mm.
And I'm looking like that don't bother nobody else that he don't never in the meetings.
Mm.
It don't bother nobody else that this man he's never around.
Right.
And he gets bonuses and he collects checks. You have employees that weren't paid. I spoke to an employee because once I posted the video, so many
Mm-hmm.
other employees started from different markets now. This wasn't even Atlanta. Different markets across the country are reaching out. This happened in my market. This happened in my market. They released me
Mm.
because I changed my hair color, and the white person had the same hair color. Yes, this is, mind you, this is all in a black-owned company. Now it'd be different
Mm-hmm.
if it was a white-owned company because
Right.
you kind of understand. All right, I'm going to let me
Right.
censor myself. You get what I'm
Right.
saying? Let me put the censor on. Let me put on my voice. Let me put on my little flats and put
Mm-hmm.
on my little low bun ponytail. But when you are working for a black company, you expect there's an expectation of pride, like, oh, I can go in here and I can be
Right.
myself.
Of culture. Yes, absolutely.
And so when you get there, it's not that. And so that's why I've been going so hard. And so that's where
Mm-hmm.
Hughes versus Hughes came from because social media, I was shadow banned. And so
Mm.
people were no longer like seeing what I was talking about, seeing the boycott. It just vanished.
Damn.
Like you would search my name, nothing would come up. Like
Damn.
that bad. Like it was like, oh, you do not exist. So I found a distribution company that is black owned, and I put all the videos that I had written, put those on like a EP album form, and I was like, you know what, I'll just take it to another platform.
Hmm.
And instead of it just being on Instagram, now it's on all the platforms everywhere you
Mm.
can listen to anything: SoundCloud, Pandora, Apple Music, Spotify, YouTube, Bebo, MySpace, everything. Every place you can listen to music, TikTok, Instagram, it is everywhere, absolutely everywhere. And Hues, which is Hues, represents the color of people, colored people rather.
Mm-hmm.
And Hughes is Hughes, which is actually the name of the woman who owns the company. So her name is
Mm.
Kathy Hughes, and she is the founder of Radio One, Urban One, all of the ones. So it's
Mm.
a black woman that owns the company, whose last name is Hughes. And then because I was speaking on behalf of colored people, I chose the word Hughes, and it's Hughes versus Hughes. And it
I
just
like
goes
that. I like
down.
that though.
Hey, thank you. It goes down telling just the different stories about the difference between a white and a black man in a black owned
Mm.
company. It tells stories of different black women that were assaulted, that were lost their job, or they were sexually harassed. Like it tells the stories of the different employees that were not paid, that didn't get raises, that got a bonus of $60. What is a $60 bonus?
Okay, that ain't shit.
That is, I mean, that is. You take more taxes out of my check
No,
than
for
that.
real.
You can't give me my taxes
Like,
back. Like, so that's why I'm like, you know what? If
mm.
people stop listening to this station, to these stations, they won't have a choice but to start listening to their target demographic. Um, and I know that was a very long answer, but I had
That's
to give you
okay.
all the backstory.
No, we needed the whole Wapti with that because I was really interested to know like the whole thing that went down with that, and I'm happy you explained it. Man, the media game and censorship, that shit is real. Ethics,
Mm,
that shit is real. And you you hit some shit on the head with that. Like I've experienced some of that in college, and that's why I don't work at no corporation right now
mm.
because how could they not back you up on that and you're a fucking employee of the company?
A
You
child at the time. Like, I mean,
well,
I was
you make
grown.
the
I was
news. Yeah,
22,
like
right? I'm like,
the
yes,
what? What?
yeah, it was. And I feel like I was so in the moment at the time, I didn't realize just how alone I was.
Mm.
Because when you're surrounded by people, you can kind of you forget, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it, it did not really dawn on me until after the fact, just how alone I was in that situation, because I'm just like, I don't know what to do, you know, like I don't know. Um, but going through everything that just happened with George Floyd and me just speaking about it and people hearing me and understanding where I was coming from, I was like,
Mm-hmm.
so there are people that exist. I wasn't crazy for feeling this way, you
Right.
know.
Right. No, for real. Right. Right.
It's like, okay,
Wow.
wow. They're like, wow, that happened to you. That happened to you. I'm like, yeah, y'all are making a big deal out of this, and they're like, because it is. And
Cause
I'm
it
like,
is right.
well, the people that saw me grow up, they wasn't making a big deal out of it, so I didn't know. You know, I just didn't. You don't know
Mm-hmm.
what you don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
that was the slowly but surely uncensoring moment when that police officer assaulted me. He knocked some sense into me a little
Yeah.
bit.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it had to happen that way, but definitely, I don't feel like if I hadn't have been assaulted, I wouldn't have ever woken up.
Mm. Mm.
Probably would have still been there trying to chase this dream of
Right.
being staying stagnant, you know,
Right. Right.
stagnancy. I don't know if that's a word, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
No,
it's a
that's
long
crazy.
journey.
And I mean, yeah, you not, and it's fucked up because there's so many other, Black people that have to deal with that. And it hurts me to know other people that you were around
Yeah,
did not care to get involved at that time. But I'm happy that you did, what you did
yeah.
afterwards and bringing this to light. Now you're just like, a true activist, I would say, for lots of other things, because you've
A 360
protested.
literally.
But you've been on protests, you've been a part of lots of other things too, in regards to all of the treatment of Black people, here in America. So do you feel like we need to have more of just togetherness, or how can we continue to help other situations like yours where Black people don't feel alone when they go through shit?
I genuinely would just say there needs to be like a level of grace and a level of understanding,
Hmm.
or no, willingness to understand.
Okay.
Like, how can I understand what is going on?
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like if there was someone at the time that was like, how can I help you? That could have started bringing it out of me. You get what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it's just like, all right, let me know if you need anything. No. Let me know if you need anything is that's just so vague. You get what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
it is. It
How
is.
can I help you? What is it that you need? Forces that person to think about, well, dang, what do I need?
Right.
What do I want out of this situation? It goes back to that self-reflection. Like,
Mm-hmm.
how did this affect me? How did this make me
Mm.
feel? What can I do?
Yeah.
And so I feel like just now as a community as a whole, we have to just come from a place of understanding. Look, I
Mm.
understand you reacted this way, but what is really going on?
Right.
And not just leave it there. Oh, they said it was good.
Hmm.
Again, that's just because they weren't ready, or
Mm-hmm.
or they didn't feel like you genuinely wanted to know. You
Right.
know, because one of my old coworkers was saying, "Well, Cree, I asked you like if you were good." I'm like, asking me if I was good. I don't. I said yeah because I didn't know. I didn't feel like you were willing to understand what I was going through. Because if you were
Mm-hmm.
willing to understand, you would have took initiative. You know,
Exactly.
like
Exactly.
you
You
would
would have
have
done
taken
more.
in
Exactly.
exactly. It wouldn't have just been like, oh, she said she good. So what else am I going to say? That
Mm-hmm.
I go home and I'm scared. The place that it happened literally was off of the exit that I have to take every day. So every single day since it's happened, I flash back every single day. There's not a day. There are times where I won't even go home because I didn't want to have to pass that exit. And it's not like, you know how you have some exits where you can just go to the next one? No, if you go to the next one, if you pass that one, it's gonna be 15 minutes before. So now,
damn, right? You can't ride down the block.
It's not like okay, let me get up on the exit afterwards, because the exit afterwards is like 15 minutes. So then now I'm thinking, well, dang, I gotta drive all the way over here. Why am I driving all the way over here? Oh, because I was trying to avoid the exit. Why was I trying to avoid the exit? So then I go down the rabbit hole. So it's like there's no getting away from it. It's something that happened, and the people that were in my life at the time did not show up for me. And that will stick with me forever. Like, there's nothing you can do, nothing you can say. You weren't there. You were literally in my face and you weren't there, which hurts even more when you're with people and you still feel alone. So I think it definitely starts with just having that willingness to understand and not reacting based off of people that aren't the source of information. Because we'll get some information and we'll react based off of it, but it's like, is that the source of the information? Like, go to the source and see how you can understand their side. Where are they coming from? And that's it. Even with the boycott, I'm just like, I just want y'all to understand
exactly
that you see it as just putting a white person in this place, but I see it as taking away the legacy we are working so hard to leave. Meaning, you see it as just a position. I see it as a generator for even more gentrification. Meaning, because he doesn't understand the validity of owning property. Well, no, because he does understand it and it's been passed down to him. He does not understand the necessity to teach it to our people. And since he does not care, because he's never had to go without, he's not telling us as radio personalities, hey, I think this would be good. Hey, we should throw this in there. Hey, we should throw in some financial literacy programs. Hey, we should throw in a police reform, or not police reform, a police gathering with different civilians, so we can get the police side of it. You know what I'm saying? Because police are people too. So what is it that they go through? How can we understand what they're up against, so then they can understand what we're up against? No. So people think, okay, yeah, she's just boycotting. No, I'm boycotting for a much bigger reason. Because the place that I live in is being gentrified at a rapid rate. But I can't imagine the amount of people that would have kept their homes if the radio station did a radiothon where they raised money for people that couldn't afford their property taxes. You got people losing their homes for $1,500 because they couldn't afford the property tax. But if we did a radiothon to just raise the money, make it make sense. If we're the number one source for urban media, why aren't we not doing? To me, it's simple. Like it's very simple.
But you're right. We get it. They don't get it. They don't want to get it. They don't want to understand it. Have they reached out to you since then at all in regards to any of this?
No, and that's honestly, I don't even. They have not, to answer your question. No, they haven't. But they did, however, give all the employees in the company a raise. So they definitely, when I say they know exactly who I am, what I'm saying, they know. And my thing is, I didn't even say give them a raise. And thank you for giving them a raise and paying them what they're worth. But who's to say that the raise is enough?
Exactly. That don't suffice nothing.
Like,
hell no.
Like, you are supposed to be nice to people. Like, you're supposed to treat them adequately. You're supposed to pay them what they're. It's not like you get a cookie for doing what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to do that. Like, what do you mean? But in you doing that, you could have reached out to me. You get what I'm saying? Like, so the energy is there. It's just being misplaced. They sent him on a 2-week vacation, spending money on him again. So in doing that, Robin, look, in doing that, they could have easily been like, you know what, Creed? How? How can we understand and make the necessary changes?
Mm.
Do you realize I went to Apple Music and Hughes versus Hughes wasn't on there? So
I'm
apparently
still stuck on they sent this nigga on vacation. I'm still
yes,
stuck. What?
yes, yes, yes.
Oh my God. What the fuck?
Yes.
What the fuck?
And that is exactly what I'm talking about. So the energy again is there. It is just being misplaced. Continuously being misplaced because the time it took for you to call Apple and
True.
get Hughes versus Hughes taken down,
You could
you
have.
could have just called me.
Exactly. You could have
My
rectified some
number
shit.
is the same. My
Mm.
email address is the same. You have access to me, but because you want to not understand and run around the problem still
Mm-hmm.
exists.
It
I
still
just
exists.
said fire him and replace him with someone that adequately represents our community. That is
Right.
the only thing I have said. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
I've shed
Mm-hmm.
light on other issues, but my main agenda, my main focus has not changed since day one. Fire
Mm.
him. That's who
Mm.
needs to go. And they haven't done it. So,
Damn, y'all. We can't. Hey, y'all can't fuck with the Radio 1, G. Y'all can't fuck with none of that shit, fam. Real shit, G. We
yes,
can't fuck with none
yes.
of that. We can't do it, G. And I'm a firm believer in not, supporting motherfuckers and hitting them where it hurts. And definitely for those type of
Mhm.
corporations, streams, views, listeners, like, hey, cut that shit out because that's
Right.
wrong on so many levels. And there's so many other ways we can still get what we need, but we feel like this is all that they're giving us. We can get that shit other places, y'all. But when it's
Mhm.
wrong, it's wrong. Like when it's wrong, it's wrong. That's
Yes,
it.
and
Y'all wrong as
thank you.
hell. Like that's
Yeah.
wow. I didn't know. I didn't know the whole backstory on that. So I'm happy you told me because I'm like, I've always heard of it as being, yeah, a black company, like black
Mhm.
as fuck. So for you to say that, it's like, what?
And when I
That to
say
me,
everyone said the
but
same thing.
yeah, like to me, that makes sense definitely with your clothing. I see you got some clothing that's out as well. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, what you
Question
say? The
everything.
meaning behind it all, question everything,
Yes.
question it all, like
Question
definitely.
everything. And it's just when I say it was and I'm like, wow, there's sometimes I'll get down on myself
Mm-hmm.
because I'm like, Cree, how did you not see this? It
Mm,
was right there. You were in that situation for close to 6 years. Were
mm,
you that blinded by being on stage and being on the radio that you didn't see what they were really
going.
taking from you?
Mm-hmm.
And so now I'm just like, dang, was I just a dumbass? Damn, I was just dumb. But then I had to
It
realize,
wasn't
like,
that.
okay,
Yeah.
right. It's like, no,
Mm-hmm.
Creed, like you had to go through that so then you could speak on it and tell
Mm-hmm.
people. Because when I'm telling them, they're like, well, Creed, there's other black owned stations. And I'm like, you missing it. It is
Right.
black owned and white run. Those
Right.
other black owned stations are black owned and black run. And the other
Mm-hmm.
stations that have black personalities are white owned companies. They're white owned companies, white run companies. You get what you get. Like
Mm-hmm.
I can't speak on white owned, white run. I didn't experience that. I'm speaking on black owned, white run. And
Mm-hmm.
in my opinion, that is the epitome of a contradiction. That's the epitome of moving backwards. Like,
No, for real. Absolutely. It's fucked up, man. But I'm happy that you were able to elaborate on this. This is something I think a lot of media people of color specifically need to know.
yeah,
Everything that glitters ain't gold, y'all. And just because they got this fancy ass name, it does not mean that they're gonna do good by you. So I'm
right.
happy that you elaborated on that. So, I mean, how have you been moving past that since, that's gone, you put your resignation in? Like, how are you moving now as far as the media world? And are you not still shadow banned, are you? Because I was able to find your shit. I sure look like,
Yeah, so I think it's slowly but surely coming back. And I kind of had to like take a step back because I was getting what's the word? I was getting annoyed and kind of
mm,
down because I'm just like, oh my God, it's so annoying. Like,
yeah.
excuse me, and then just losing followers. Like we live in a social media age. So as much as people want to say, oh, the followers don't matter or this doesn't matter, it matters. Like let's cut the shit. It matters. And just seeing that, I had to realize that that did not equate to my success. And that didn't equate to my story and what I have essentially brought out of me. And a part of me was kind of happy I was shadow banned because it just pushed me more. You know what I'm saying? And I was forced to be creative. Okay, creative. This is a message you're trying to get. What are you gonna do? Like, how much does it matter to you? And people at this point, they're like, shoot, let me hear what she's saying because she always talking about something. Like, you know what I'm saying? But if I hadn't have gone through the motions of putting out a project released on all these different platforms and getting billboards, they wouldn't take me serious. You get what I'm saying? Because people don't respond to reason, they respond to irrationality. So they're like, oh, she is not playing. Like, let me just turn the radio off together. I don't know who I'm listening to. I'm just gonna turn the radio off altogether.
At this point, that's what I'm saying. Turn them all off. At this point, turn them all off.
And so I feel like it's helped me move. To answer your question, it has helped me keep moving. And it's like the devil is constantly, I don't know if it's the devil or if it's God, but something is pushing me forward. Like, okay, Cree, you did this, let's keep it moving. All right, you did this, let's keep it moving. And so just with media, I'm seeing it for what it is. And there are events that, like for instance, there was like a big party that happened earlier this year, and I was gonna try to figure out how I could go. And I'm like, I really want to go. And my mentee, I was telling it to her, I was like, I'm probably gonna go, but I don't really have anything to wear. Like, it just wasn't aligning. And a part of me was just like, wow, I'm gonna be in a room with a lot of people that may not, a lot of people who I used to run with. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of people in the industry that may or may not agree with what I said, that maybe, you know what I'm saying? Like it was, I was going to be against adversity if I had gone to that particular event. But I wanted to go because, again, that's what I'm used to. I'm used to going out to different events and, you know, parties. Like it's fun. And she looked at me, she said, Cree, you don't even like those people. Why? You don't even like being in that arena. Like that's not you. It was you for a period of time, but that's not who you are. Like you don't, why are you going to be seen? You don't. And when I said, well, damn, I the mentor, or are you? Because you just checked the hell out of me. I mean, I live with that. I'm like, dang, she really like got me together. But I was thankful for it because she's like, Cree, what? Those people wouldn't go to bat for you. Those people, they didn't go to bat for you when you needed it. So why would you allow them? Why would you allow them in your space again? Why would you even want to be around people that don't care about you? I was like, damn, I guess I'm just gonna sit at home then.
Right.
Okay.
This one out.
So I think just me looking at media, I'm seeing it for what it is.
Okay.
And understanding that, you know, I made a choice to no longer create a moment, but create a memory. And I will say it's been hard. Stop it. It has been hard. It's been really lonely. It's been quiet. It's been like, oh my gosh, like I really have to figure it out. Versus going to a job every day, knowing what to do, knowing what events are coming up. Like that pattern is gone. But it also has just brought me clarity. And now I'm just like, I'm not wasting time on stuff I don't have to do. You know, I don't care if I'm not seen. I don't care because I know now more of who I am. And I feel like it's just pushing me in a different direction.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. This is so inspiring, like for real. Cause I'm, you know, media person. I just feel you. Like it's just like, oh my God, like it's just very inspiring to me. And I'm excited to see what you're gonna do because I know you're gonna do great shit. Like you're gonna do great shit regardless.
I
You
hope
already
I
doing
hope
great
so.
shit, but you gonna do great shit, like for real. And you don't fuck. Look, I'm like, fuck them. Like that shit really pissed me off. Like for real. Like, whoo, that really pissed
Yeah,
me off.
no.
But I mean, I feel like you can do so much still. You have such a great following, and I feel like people still rock with you so hard, like from
Hmm.
everywhere, despite this.
Right. Yeah. And I do think that. I think it's more so me now just getting out of my own head.
Okay.
Because there are a lot of things where I'm questioning everything, literally. And I'll just, okay, well, what about this? What about this? Like I feel like now I'm kind of like overthinking it because it's different when you have like a bigger name attached to your name, or when your
Right.
name is attached to a bigger name. Because it's like you don't really have to explain too much. You know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, I'm a radio personality here. And it's
Right.
like, oh shoot, all right. Versus,
Right.
no, I am QRI Montague. And people are like, and okay, like you know what I'm saying? So it's like, okay, and you're here because so it's like now I am building my own name and creating that legacy and
Yeah.
being the change I wish to see. And it's so easy to say, but child,
Well.
right? Like there are days I'm like, I'm gonna just be a follower because followers have more fun. Ignorance is bliss.
Okay, look.
I'm only just
Today's the day. Fuck it. Just forget it. Just forget it.
right.
Look.
Yeah.
That's funny. No.
Yes, yes,
Mm-mm.
yes, yes.
Okay. Well, I mean, I'm excited still to see what you'll have in the future, what you're going to be doing. You are a great, activist, and you've been involved in a lot of things in regards to moving, the positivity of Black people, which I love wholeheartedly. I do a lot here where I'm at
Thank,
too. I love
thank
that for
you.
real. I do. I love that. So we've been chopping it up, y'all. I know y'all been listening. It's been good. Look, people,
Yeah, I would say
it's
this was
been
great.
good. Shout out to y'all that's tuned in, that shared this for sure. But before you go, I do just want to again kind of get some more advice on you to anybody that's maybe struggling, trying to find themselves, in the world or find their purpose. What would you tell somebody, that's struggling, I guess, to be comfortable with who they are?
Ooh, I would say what I have learned with the like life change that I've endured or gone through, that thing that you are uncertain as to how people will react, that is what your purpose is. So
Mm,
whatever thing that you hide from the world, whatever thing that you don't know what people are going to say, or you don't want people to know that you do, or you think about all the time, it's just in the back of your mind, like whatever that is your passion, not what you're doing for other people to see or just doing just to do. Whatever the hell is back here, that's your passion, because I now feel fulfilled.
mm,
And in my heart, I always knew I wanted to be an activist. Like, you have people that love Martin Luther King. No, I thought I was Martin Luther King when I was little. Like I loved Martin Luther King. Like, you couldn't tell me. I loved him so much. Like, you about to make me cry just how much I loved him. Like, I
Oh,
just couldn't understand how I could love somebody this much that I had
mm,
never met ever in my life. Like,
mm,
I thought I was Martin Luther King. When I was on the debate team in high school, I would recite his speeches. And I won
mm.
like state championships reciting his speeches. And I'm like, I'm Martin Luther King. And literally, like to this day, I'll just listen to his speeches. Just listen to them. Just because I'm just like, wow, like that
Mm.
is the type of time I'm trying to be on. Like
Yeah.
I want to literally leave a lasting legacy. And so I'm just like, I didn't know how to get it out, if that makes sense. So I'm like, oh yeah, I'll get into activism in like my late 30s. Like that was my plan. I was like, you know what? I know I want to be an activist, so maybe in my late 30s, that'll be a good time to start. And in the back of my mind, it was
Look.
when I say it was always there, even in radio. When things would happen and I was looking around, my coworkers wouldn't say anything. I'll be so upset. I'm like, oh my gosh, what's going on? I'm
No,
surrounded
for
by
real.
crazy people.
Right.
And like I said, I just didn't know how to get it out. And it was something that I would hide. A part of me was afraid that I wouldn't, I would always be single. Because what man nowadays wants this big powerhouse activist woman? You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
I was hiding it. I was hiding it from my coworkers because I'm like,
Mm.
ain't nobody doing this. You know what I'm saying? Like, let me
Yeah.
just be cool. Like, let me not be conscious because that scares people. So
Mm.
that's where that censorship came from. And when I stopped doing that, I truly, when I say truly, felt like I was finally being myself. Like
Mm.
finally. Like, yeah, the radio was cool. But that's why when I would go out to events, I wasn't having fun because that wasn't
Yeah.
me. But it's like, oh, you're this pretty, you're this tall girl, like,
Mm-hmm.
you have a face, like you're supposed to be in this, and I'm like, okay, like you know how they tell tall people play
Mm-hmm.
basketball, you talk, you
Right.
play basketball, and it's like I don't even like basketball, but I'm gonna just play it because everybody say I should do it. So it was that
Yeah.
thing, like, oh yeah, like you're so beautiful, you have a nice voice, you should be on radio. And I'm like,
Mm.
okay, well let me just be on radio, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and it was just lacking substance. And
Mm.
that activism was always in the back of my mind. Always. I say every single day, every day it would haunt me. So if you are struggling with trying to find your passion or your purpose, it is whatever you are hiding.
Yeah.
Whatever it is that you aren't releasing, whatever it is you're afraid that people, how they're going to react, that is like, I promise you,
Mm.
because I've seen my life change because I started truly being myself. I was always myself, but I was not living in my purpose self.
Mm.
And
Okay.
if you just sit right on, like there's a difference. Being yourself and
Mm-hmm.
being your purposeful self are two different things. And for whoever it is struggling, take some time and sit down and think about what it is you're hiding. What it is you've gotten so good at hiding that you didn't forgot that you hid it. Like
Yeah. For
you hid
real.
it, you buried it
Mm.
so far down. What is it? And that is exactly what you are supposed to do because it's scary living in your purpose. I'm not gonna lie to
Mm.
you. It is scary and you don't know how the world is gonna react.
Right.
But when you realize that it's not about the world, it's about you, your purpose, everything will fall into place. Everything. Like activism don't pay shit. Okay. Activism radio wasn't paying, but activism don't pay nothing. So but I also know that it's something that will pay off.
Yeah.
And that's just how I look at it. So like I said, if you struggle with your purpose, sit down with yourself, figure out what you are hiding, and that is your purpose.
Yes. Okay, look, y'all finna have me tearing up in here, y'all. Mm. No, beautiful.
No,
No,
I'm
absolutely
sorry.
though. Absolutely though. This is just so inspiring to me, really. Like this has just been very
Yeah.
motivating, just insightful. And I feel like everybody could use this type of conversation because it's not just, this don't just apply to
Yeah.
media. This applies to anything in your life.
Hmm.
If you're dealing with something and an unjust, happens, you need to make sure that you voice your opinion, make sure that you're good and you're around people that want you to be good as well.
Yeah.
So I appreciate you for sharing that. I mean, you didn't have
Thank
to, but you
you for
did. Oh,
having
you
me.
did. You shared it.
Yes, I'm getting better with not crying because it was a few points in there I was like, all right, I'm getting a little emotional, but
Girl, okay,
I
I'm
held it
telling you,
together.
I had to look away a little bit. Like, I don't want to be doing all this on the camera because she might think I'm soft, but
That's hilarious.
because it was serious. No, but I have enjoyed talking to you. I'm definitely, interested to keep up with you in any other events or any other media endeavors that you'll be doing. Definitely let me know because I support you 100,000% here in Chicagoland, Midwest. You know what I'm saying? We
Yes.
rocking. 100%
Yes.
up here for you. Okay. I do
Thank you
have your
so
IG
much.
scrolling, of course. But I mean, is that how you like for people to keep up with you mainly on your IG?
Um, yeah, so either you can follow me on Instagram or not follow me, doesn't matter. But hey, whatever you keep up with people, you can go to Questions with Cree. It's Questions with QRI. Then there's like a link tree, like a link in the bio that'll take you to Hughes versus Hughes, so you can hear the story. That'll take you to my website if you want to purchase questionable apparel. That'll take you to my email address if you want to ask me a question. That'll take you literally to absolutely everything Cree. Or if you want to just talk to me, you can DM me. Sometimes I'm slow to reply, but I always try to make sure I reply. And also, I'm about to try to put together a tour to go on tour doing. You're like, oh, you saved that for the end.
Okay, right. Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
So I am really trying to, and this is something I tried to do. Literally, that was my goal for 2020. And you see how things happen.
Yes.
So my goal for this next year of
Let
life
me write that
is
down.
to go on tour, teaching people how to be cool and conscious, and raising awareness for people just regarding self accountability and helping them
I
find their
love
their
that.
superpowers, because I feel like we all have
Yes.
superpowers. So I'm gonna be like this superhero teaching other people what their superpower is.
Oh. See, oh, period.
Like,
Yes, absolutely.
you are so silly.
Absolutely. That's gonna be lit. Wait, so you gonna start doing that next year?
No, I wanna. My
Do it.
goal was to
Oh, this
have
year. Okay.
5 booked events by the end of the
Okay.
year. So I
Girl, let
want
me
to.
know. I'm there. Look,
Like, I
we gonna
want
pull up.
to do at least 5 this year because I
Mhm.
used to do it in college, but then I kind of stopped when I started
Nice.
focusing more on radio. So I've
Right.
already done a tour, but now I can solely focus on doing this. And now I have a little twist to my life. Before it was just this, this socialite radio personality, but now it's
Right.
this, okay, this cool and conscious person. Like, how do I
Absolutely.
find that balance? What is my superpower? She found hers. What is mine? And so that's essentially
Yes.
what I'm going to be touring around teaching people.
I love
I'm
that.
excited.
That's dope though. That's dope. See,
Yay.
this is how we heal, y'all. This is how we heal for real. People deal with a lot of childhood traumas and all types of
Mm,
things. And then you get to adulthood and you be wondering why you kind of fucked up a little bit. It's because you ain't find your purpose. You ain't find that superpower. Like, that's super dope, man. Like, I love that. You need to
thank
let
you
me know
so
the
much.
dates. I'll fly
Yes.
out. We'll pull up
Hey,
because I
I
would
might
love
be able
to
to
know.
come to Chicago, honey.
Girl, let me know because we will be there. Okay. I will be there. Okay. I will
Yes,
definitely bring some people and we would love to be in that workshop for sure. Like,
I
that would be
love it.
super dope.
Thank you so much, Robin. You are such a great
Yes.
spirit. Such a
Oh,
great
thank
spirit.
you. You are a great spirit. Like, seriously, you are great. Like I said, I'm happy that you feel comfortable enough to just give us your story. And that's so
Yes.
inspiring. I'm going to rewatch this again because y'all, I'm telling y'all,
Please send
I
it to
get it.
me so I
Like,
can
woo.
repost it. Please send
Okay.
it to
Yes.
me.
I'm definitely going to make sure I do that to you. Send it to you so you can have that. Shout out to everybody that tuned in, though. We got a lot of shares. People were commenting, talking about this was a great topic. So shout out to y'all for tuning in. We definitely appreciate that. Shout out to y'all for subscribing to Pillow Talk, man. Y'all know y'all can subscribe to me, streaming on all major platforms, including iHeartRadio. So this will definitely be on there. Cause listen, this was one of those. I'm trying to tell y'all.
This was great. I do agree. This was really, really good. I'm very happy. I'm
It was
very
great.
happy.
Yes, it was so good. So again, I really do appreciate you, Cree. Like, this was so dope, for real.
Thank you, Robin. I'm gonna keep
Yes.
you updated. I'm super
Okay. Let me
excited
know.
to
Let me
come to
know. Let me know.
Chicago.
Okay. We can go out. I'll take you out. Everything.
Yeah, take me on the
Okay,
town, girl. Take me on the
out on the
town.
town. For real. We will do it. We will do it. But no, I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Thank y'all so much for watching. As always, sending love and light to everybody, man. Peace out.
Bye.